Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. This is Grady Hooker, and this is Josh on Skype.
Hey.
85 episodes down. We're going to do what we do every single week and jump straight into Raw. So, Randy Orton's not too happy at Seth Rollins.
Nope. Sure doesn't look that way.
And we got to see another RKO out of nowhere.
Yep. And Orton's becoming really, really over with the crowd.
Yeah. I think we definitely saw that in his Hell in a Cell match against John Cena. So... Team Authority versus Team John Cena?
Yep. They announced a stipulation this week on WWE.com that says that if the Authority loses, they're out of power.
I feel like they could still flip around on me, but maybe boxing this match into a corner.
Yeah, it is, because you have no idea of what they're actually going to do. Because if they do the end of the match with the Authority losing the match, where they go from here?
Yeah. It seems sort of like the Authority have to win here.
Yeah.
But as I said, anything can happen. It is WWE. And which team is Orton? Orton's injured, isn't he? I put air quotes around injured.
Yeah. Yeah, he got wrote off of television, so he can go do his movie.
How long does movie filming take?
And there's doesn't know. He's not going to be on the European tour. We know that for certainty. And he's not currently advertised for Survivor Series, which is in his hometown.
That'd be a great place to, return, be a good guy, jump on Team Cena.
Yeah. RKO a bunch of people and leave.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
I'd rather him not even be part of either team. Just show up, RKO everybody, and just walk out.
That works as well. So WWE Tag Team Championship match. I have no idea what Big Show and Mark Henry did to deserve one, but they got one against Goldust and Stardust.
They really didn't deserve it. But it was just a plot device for the Henry heel turn.
I called it.
Yeah.
Not gonna let anybody live that down.
No. And now we have... And now it looks like we have a new United States champion.
Yeah. Might as well talk about that. It wasn't even technically on Raw. What was up with this? It was like a live match?
It was a live match on the network. Exclusive to the network. Basically, it was like the dark matches that they do after the show. But this was televised on the network, and Rusev is your new United States champion.
See, I care a little less about
Sheamus pass out.
A little less about Rusev winning, and more about this concept of the single match, live matches, rather than being on a show. I think this could be a thing here.
It could be. It could also have been just something to make it seem like you gotta have the network because anything can happen.
True. You miss that title change, man. You miss everything. Okay, so we'll jump into the classic entrance theme. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin way back when he was the ringmaster. Okay, so you're back with Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. So we're just going to go into the Hacksaw interview I said I was going to give you before. So this is the full Hacksaw interview that I had when he was up here in New Zealand for Armageddon.
Well, thank you very much, brother. But the first thing Hacksaw Duggan has to do is give a big ho! Kind of fires me up, I think we panicked everybody in the hotel, but we're having a good time.
Wouldn't be an interview if you didn't start off like that. So also, we saw on Legends House that you were on, that you were very buddy-buddy with Roddy Piper. Have you kept up with him after the show?
Yeah, I sure did. Actually, I didn't really know Piper very well and before Legend House, and when we got there, they said, "Well, you have to have a roommate." And I'm like, "Well, I haven't had a roommate since college, you know." And they said, "And you're rooming with Piper." So the first 2 days, we just kind of eyeballed each other, you know. But then we hit it off and became good friends. And in the States, they call it the bromance, that we hit it off so well. And of course, then on the other hand, me and Tony Atlas didn't get along quite so well.
That was going to be my next question. Are you still not in talking terms with Tony, or?
Well, Tony and I have known Tony for probably 25, almost 30 years, and we never really got along in those years, you know. But we were always in a dressing room situation, and all of a sudden they were stuck in a house together for 5 weeks, and tension just really, really built. And of course, Tony, I always say, you know, I understand him having trouble with me and Piper because we're kind of a pain in the butt too. But to have trouble with Hillbilly Jim, it's like amazing because Hillbilly's the easiest going guy in the world. Yeah. And Tony had trouble with him, so you know. But it kind of added to the show. He was the fly in the ointment. So you know, if it wasn't for Tony, it would have been almost too smooth of a show.
Yeah. Are we going to see a season 2? Have you heard anything?
They're talking about a season 2, but I think they're trying to get eight different guys together. Actually, I just talked to Piper a couple nights ago. He's pushing to have our own show. You know, he said we can do well with the other 6 guys, and because you know, I think they were expecting to be more of a drama type show, Legend House, and with me and Piper, it almost became a comedy. You know, we had so much fun with it. So WWE is talking about just giving us our own little 4-man camera crew and let us wander around town and have fun.
So it sounds like a great show.
Yeah, it would be a good show. Yeah, I don't know, it would be a Duggan Piper show or the Piper Duggan show.
So do you still watch the current day product?
I don't watch too much wrestling nowadays. I always joke. I said that'd be like a butcher watching him cut meat on his day off. You know, after 35 years, when I'm at home, I don't like to watch too much wrestling, but I keep an eye on it a little bit.
Okay. You had a small little one-day stint with Rusev.
Right. Yeah, they bring me back and forth once in a while. The Rusev deal, I thought they were going to do more with it, and that's one of the reasons I went up there to do it because I figured we'd follow it up, and they didn't. So you know You never really know which direction they're going to go with it. Hopefully, you know, down the road, because Rusev broke my 2x4 over his knee, you know. And I said, it broke well over your knee, kid. Let's see how it breaks over your head, tough guy. Ho! Oh, sorry, brother. I'm starting to fire up now.
So you didn't watch too much of it, but have you seen any superstars that you've seen that have stood out to you?
Yeah, of course, Roman Reigns is doing great. Of course, he has an injury problem. Daniel Bryan. I really like Daniel, you know, with a yes, yes, yes reminds me of a ho, 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 you know, so I like Daniel, but again, a lot of problems with injury. But I think a guy, an up-and-coming star who's been there for a little while, though, is Dolph Ziggler. I could see Dolph one day being world champion. You know, he's a good-looking, handsome guy, a lot of white hair, a lot of white teeth. You know, he's got the good body. He's the type look that they like for their marquee person. He's got the look to be the champion.
So you've been doing a lot of hoes and talking about your 2x4. Could you explain exactly where those came from?
Well, the hoe, I don't know. I always joke. I said one time I got this huge splinter in my thumb, and I went, oh! No, but the hoe just kind of, you know, back in the Mid-South, the Universal Wrestling days, I'm very vocal in the ring anyway, and I was just yelling, and the people started yelling back at me, so we evolved into the hoe. Now, the 2x4, actually, my mentor was Bruiser Brody, who was tragically stabbed to death in Puerto Rico. But Brody used to tell me, he says, Duggan, if you carry something into the ring, carry something you can use. Forget the feathered boas and sequin robes. And I'm like, well, here's a piece of wood. And I came out yelling and screaming and waving that 2x4, and the crowd scattered. So I got back and forth to the ring without a problem, and been carrying it ever since. And, you know, it kind of goes good with the character. You know, nothing fancy, Dan, about Hacksaw Duggan. Just a 2x4 and the flag of the United States of America. Here I go again, guys. Ho!
Okay, so you got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. How did that feel?
That was great. Of course, anytime you're acknowledged by your peers is really something. And to be remembered long after I'm gone It'll be cool. They're still debating if they're going to have a stationary Hall of Fame in Stamford, Connecticut, where the WWE offices are, or it may be a mobile one that travels with Monday Night Raw. But no matter what it is, it's great to be part of it. And of course, my family was able to come. I have two daughters, and it'll be nice to know down the road my grandkids will be able to go back and see some of the old Hacksaw stuff.
Taking a deviation from wrestling, I noticed you were on a movie called Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies.
Right, yes. Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies. A lot of folks, I did a lot of PR for the movie, and people say, well, how would you describe the movie? I said, the title pretty much covers it. It's Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies. It's not Gone with the Wind, But it was a lot of fun. Roddy Piper, of course, is the main star in it. Kurt Angle was in it, Matt Hardy. Some TNA girls. They had a bodybuilder guy, a couple of Penthouse pets. It was pretty much just a blood fest. But it was fun to do, and I really thought I nailed my part. I played Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I said, I don't think anybody else could play that part that well. So I'd like to thank the Academy.
How'd that role come about? You just get contacted?
Yeah, they just contacted me and asked me if I was available, and it was a 2-week shoot. It was a short movie, and they crammed a lot in. Of course, I got my airplane ticket, and I was only there for 7 days, so I was like, uh-oh, I don't make it to the end of the movie. And of course, the zombies got me, and then another wrestler, the zombies were chasing us, and he got to the door and he locked the door on me. I'm like, Shane, open the door, and the zombies attacked, and I got 4 or 5 of the zombies with my 2x4, and finally all did the hog pile on me. But I did the deal because I was able to choreograph the stunt, so they all hog pile, and I did the old and pushed everybody off me and almost made it to the door. They pulled me back down and zombitized me.
Would you be willing to go back and do some other movie roles?
Oh, sure, yeah. I've done some small movies. I just recently did a thing called The Axeman of Henderson County. Seems like I do a lot of horror. I don't know why, but it's fun to do. And of course, The Axeman, I played the mayor, which was something different than playing Hacksaw Jim Duggan, which was fun. But I realized I have no big, huge movie career. I enjoy doing a few cameos, so it's an experience and fun to do.
Okay. We've seen from this interview, are you any different to Hacksaw in real life at all?
No, Hacksaw's in here with me, brother. I get a couple of whiskeys, he gets me in trouble all the darn time, I tell you. But I've learned to kind of keep him in check, And most good characters in the WWE or WWF in the day are just an extension of most guys' personalities. I mean, Junkyard Dog was another one bites the dust. And of course, Macho Man, that wasn't really an extension. That was Macho Man. That's the way he was. He was always wound real tight. My very good friend, Jake the Snake Roberts, he's a snake.
So do you have any regrets throughout your career?
Yeah, I have a few regrets. Of course, the infamous arrest with the Iron Sheik years ago. But overall, it's been a good business for me. That's actually why I wrote the book, Hacksaw, the Jim Duggan story. I said, what a catchy title, huh? Hacksaw, the Jim Duggan story. But when the Triumph Books contacted me about doing the book, I gave them 2 or 3 different titles. I was like, The Cycle of the Ring, Tough Life, Tough Guy. They said, we'll stick with Hacksaw, the Jim Duggan story. But it's a positive look at pro wrestling. I've been with my wife over 30 years, married 25. I've never had to go to rehab for booze or drugs, never had a felony arrest. I have 2 daughters that are in college. I'm very active in the community. I talk with the schools. I ride with the police. So, we're not all Scott Hall. There's a lot of guys that are successful in our business. Tito Santana, Roddy Piper. There's people that are successful, but folks like to hear about the train wrecks.
Yeah. So, is there anything that you're doing soon? Any upcoming events you'd like to promote or anything?
Well, of course, Armageddon coming up, right? Yes, yeah, we're looking forward to Armageddon. This is my first trip here to New Zealand. I've been to Australia 4 times, but my first trip to New Zealand, and I've been having a great time here. Brought my wife with me. So tonight we're going to have dinner at the Sky Tower. She's going to go walk on the bridge. I'm going to be on the bottom cheering her on. But we're looking forward to going to the island. What you call me? No, yeah, so we're going to go have, just wish I had more time to see more of the country, but, back in the WWF days, all you would see was the airport, the hotel, and the arena, and you'd be gone the next day. So at least this is nice that we're getting to see a little bit of New Zealand.
So you're going to be wrestling on Sunday, I believe, at Armageddon?
Right, yeah, they got me wrestling.
So I'm guessing you're going to be training with Have you been to the New Zealand guys yet, or?
No, haven't met any of the New Zealand guys, and of course that's a big misconception. Another one that folks have about wrestling, that we get together and we rehearse everything. At this stage, I'll show up maybe 10 minutes before the match and meet the guys, and usually, hopefully, they're professional. But I always joke, I said the kids I all wrestle nowadays are 6'5", 300 pounds, and 25 years old. They're like, "Are we on TV, Mr. Duggan?" I'm like, "I hope not, kid. Where's my 2x4?
So we're going to see the 2x4 broken over someone's head?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know about somebody's head, but it'll be good to have the board out there. That's kind of my trademark. I used to travel, of course, with Jake, and I'd walk into the arena. I said, "Can somebody find me a piece of wood?" And find him a 10-foot python. It's always easy to find a piece of lumber anywhere. But the young kids come up and they go, "Here's your piece of wood, Mr. Duggan." I'm like, "No, I need a right-handed piece." They're like, "Oh, this is all we got."
So I'm guessing you have no idea who you're fighting, or?
No, I don't have any idea, no. Makes no difference. I'll stomp on down to the ring, and I'll do what Hacksaw Duggan does best. Beat people up, tough guy. Give me a hoe, young lady. Ho! You gotta work on that hoe, kid.
So you wrestled in Melbourne. Was that a great experience?
Yeah, it was. I've been to Australia, like I said, 3 other times before this trip, and it was fun. I still like getting in the ring. Of course, at this stage of my career, I'm pretty limited what I can do in the ring, and so I need a young guy to work around me. But we can, and that's why the WWE brings me back once in a while. So I work with the young kids and show them it's more than just taking falls and bumps and flipping around. You got to tell the story. You got to interact with the people, and hopefully they'll give me a nice young guy to work with here in New Zealand, and we'll put on a good show for the folks. And I find that most folks that are critical of wrestling have never actually been to the show. I tell the folks out there that haven't been, come with an open mind. And 99% of the time you're going to say, "Hey, that was a great night out." You cheer the good guys, you boo the bad guys. It's a fun night. Or you go sit in a movie for 3 hours just looking at the movie. If you haven't been to a wrestling show, check it out, tough guy.
So, yep, that's about all the time we got for. So it's been great talking to you.
Well, thank you, young guy. And you know what you got to do before we go, brother? Let's do one together. Let's go. Ho!
So you can listen to that interview again, or you can get the full thing. It's on our Facebook, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio. It's also on YouTube. I'm sure if you search Hacksaw interview Wrestling Roundup, you'll find it there. So now we're going to jump into our current entrance theme of the week. It's Charlotte from NXT. Back at the Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. Hope you enjoyed the interview. So we'll jump back into Raw where we left off. We're going to skip the Roman Reigns interview. He wants to be back. Same thing as the last interview.
This
AJ
was a bit better.
A little better. AJ Lee versus Alicia Fox.
Can we please move on? Please.
Or we can talk
I'm tired of this feud.
We can talk for 5 minutes about Paige on commentary. Just ignore the match, ignore the feud.
Paige has come into her own now, and I'm glad that they've given her a chance.
Okay.
But jeez, I'm tired of the feud. I don't care even if it's Nikki Bella. Give me something different.
Okay, I think over on SmackDown, Nikki Bella won the Halloween Battle Royal, didn't she?
Yeah, and was rewarded with a #1 contendership match.
So we should, air quotes around should again, be getting Nikki, AJ, Paige, Alicia Fox coming up.
We'll see.
Okay, so now we got a new tag team, the dynamic team of The Miz and Damien Mizdow.
Prediction. Survivor Series. Tag Team Turmoil Tag Team Championship match.
How many times have you called this
Dust-
now?
The Dust versus Los Matadores versus Miz and Mizdow versus the Usos and versus Slater Gator.
Just have Slater Gator in because we need a fifth team.
Yeah, because the Tag Team Turmoil match, you have to have 5 teams.
It's weird
Otherwise,
though.
it just becomes a fatal 4-way elimination match.
It's weird to see the Usos use twin magic,
Yeah, it is.
especially since they don't look too similar. There's a tattoo difference. The face paint's on the other side, but it got them the victory over Miz and Mizdow. Although it's a very evil tactic to me. Bo Dallas got fed to Ryback.
Ryback's back! And he's back with the Feed Me More gimmick.
Good thing.
Yeah. WWE needs star power in the worst possible way. And Ryback, at his height, was hugely over with the Feed Me More gimmick.
Yeah.
Before they screwed him over with the booking.
They do that often.
So this can definitely be a good thing for WWE.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Dean Ambrose versus Cesaro, but I don't think the match ever started.
No, he just got beat. Ambrose just beat the living crap out of Cesaro.
Cesaro right now. That was him going down a hill and then exploding at the bottom of the hill.
Well, at least he's on Raw. The former 15-time World Heavyweight Champion's not on Raw next week.
True. Yeah, Bray Ambrose. Singles match, or are we gonna have him in a tag match?
I'm going to say singles match, and we're going to see a debut occur at Survivor Series in that match between Ambrose and Bray.
Are you still leaning with the Ascension to be his new family?
Yeah.
We will see.
They're dark enough to work with the gimmick, especially considering this Bray is supposed to be even more creepy and darker than the previous Bray.
Okay. Well, now we got Nikki Bella versus Naomi. Brie pretty much just helped her sister win there. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of that.
Yeah. Yeah, we will. And we'll also see her doing Nikki dirty work.
Yeah. And Kane versus Dolph Ziggler, pretty much cementing Dolph Ziggler as a member of Team Cena.
Yep. I have a feeling Ziggler's not going to make it to Survivor Series.
I have a feeling a lot of Team Cena might just not make it.
Well, they now have an incentive to join Team Cena, as they didn't beforehand.
True. Get the authority out of power.
Yep.
So we actually ended Raw. It was meant to be a John Cena-Seth Rollins match, but Kane caused a DQ, and pretty much we just had a massive brawl.
Yeah, we had the Royal Rumble come early.
Yeah. So, who do we think's going to be on Team Cena? We've got a couple of minutes left.
I'll go Cena, Ryback. I'll say Mystery Return.
Always a safe option.
I'll say Sami Zayn.
WWE.com had Sami Zayn listed in their article as well for people who could join Team Cena.
And I'll say
Dun, 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 dun,
this one is a tough one.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'll say Darren Young.
Going with the Sidewinder pick there.
Yep.
Out of left field. Okay. So we're pretty much out of time. We'll talk a little about Team Authority as we get closer. hopefully the team starts shaping up a little bit. So it's been great talking to you.
Peace out.
So you can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio, or our website, wrestlingroundup.host22.com, wrestlingroundup.host22.com. As I said, the full Hacksaw Jim Duggan interview is all over all of those social medias. Catch it, it's on YouTube. Just search Wrestling Roundup Hacksaw interview, and it'll be right there. So I'll see you next week.